Welcome to the Fishbowl Radio here, guys. And college football is done for the year, except all we have left to wait for is the bowl games and the Heisman ceremony tonight. But other than that, we decided to look back at the preseason, and we are going to roast 3 teams today, and we'll start. Well, I have Mike Contra with us here, but number 3 team that we are going to roast is the Auburn Tigers. So, Mike Contra, would you like to start us off?
What I like to say about them?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, the team in the SEC. Alright, SEC teams are supposed to be able to beat any team outside the SEC. Supposedly. Alright? For a team that has a 3-9 record in the SEC, that is just horrible. Alright? Just horrible. I don't care if they had young talent or not. 3-9 in the SEC is just a bad record to have for being an SEC school. There's no explanation for that kind of record in the SEC.
Okay, let's look back. Okay, Auburn had 2 years. Okay, 2010 they won the national championship. Okay, hoopla, Cam Newton's the greatest, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, how can you go down from that 2 years ago? I mean, you really look at it, and that's just bad. I mean, you can't fall like that. That's just... So, that kind of tells me something. Cam Newton must have been the Auburn football team himself. He must have been the whole football team.
Exactly. I mean, without Cam Newton, that team sucks. I mean, really look at it. The past 2 years have been horrible seasons for Auburn. And then you come on, you go to with the year of Cam Newton, and they win it all. So how the hell do you go from being the biggest team, the best team in the country, to being one of the worst teams in the country? Makes no sense.
I mean, oh yeah, Auburn. I mean, Gene Chiswick probably should have left last year. He probably should have seen the writing on the wall. I mean, I kind of have a feeling about that dude. I didn't think he was really that great of a coach.
No, not at all.
I mean, it just doesn't seem to be. Well, we're gonna go on commercial break for a little bit because we have I'll have to talk to Mike Contra for a moment. Okay, bye. Okay, we're back on the air here, and okay, that's to finish our discussion about Auburn. If I was Auburn and I had hired a coach like Gene Chiswick, I mean, you only can go up from here. I mean, you really can't get worse than you are right now.
Yeah, you really can't. I mean, 3-9, and then like some of their wins were against teams. Like 20, like Mexico State. I'm sorry, I don't remember which one it was. But they beat them, and it's probably a Division 15. I'm pretty sure who they're going to win. But how can you only beat those kind of teams? I mean, really. Okay,
I'm gonna tell you all the teams that Auburn lost to this year. Okay, they lost the first game of the year to number 14 Clemson. Okay, then they went at Mississippi State. They lost that game. They went in overtime against UL Monroe. They lost to LSU. Dude, even worse, Arkansas didn't have that great of a year either. And they lost to Arkansas. They lost to Ole Miss. They lost to Vanderbilt. They lost to Texas A&M. I mean, they lost to Georgia and they lost to Alabama. Their wins. Okay, you want to hear what their wins are? UL Monroe, New Mexico State, and Alabama A&M. That's the 3 teams they won. Yeah, like you said, that sucked. I mean, they got destroyed by Alabama.
Process about this year and UL Monroe for being good this year and all that. How do you almost lose to UL Monroe, and then you beat New Mexico State, which is never a good football program? How's that the only thing you beat? I could see a better. They could have beat the Ole Miss. I mean, and they could have beat Arkansas. To say the truth, I mean, that makes no sense.
Yeah, okay, here's their rankings from the 2012 season. Passing yards, they're ranked 116th in the country. Rushing yards, 80th. Points for, 114th. And points against, 65th.
It's horrible. That's one of the worst seasons in college football. I mean, last year, I mean, that.
And they finished last in SEC West.
That's just horrible. I mean, really.
You could down them all they want, but you could even say Kentucky had a bad year too. They finished 2-10, but I mean, Kentucky has been a down program for a couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, Kentucky has never been a good football team, period.
I'd like to give props to Vanderbilt, though.
Well, Vanderbilt's actually really surprised me this year. I mean, they really did. They go into a bowl game, and they're doing really good. I mean,
but Auburn, they got to turn it around. Even though the SEC West is probably the toughest division in football, they got to turn it around.
It's Auburn. Auburn's the best. They should have had.
Can you speak up, Mike Concho? We're having problems with the connection. Mike Concho?
What?
Can you speak up? Say all that all over again?
Yeah, Auburn is probably the best team in the SEC. How can you have a bad year? I mean, I always know for Auburn. Every time I should say Auburn, I'd be scared because I know Auburn would always get one of the toughest games they'll ever face in their life. I mean, I don't understand how this stuff is bad this year.
Yeah. Well, you want to switch gears, man? You want to go with the number 2?
Yeah.
All right. Our number 2 team is a team that actually had a really good season, but we're gonna roast them for one reason, and we're gonna nag at them until the end of time. Okay? I mean, Louisiana Tech.
Yes, the boys aggravated me once I found out they declined the bowl offer.
They declined the bowl offer, according to numerous websites. Even though they came out and say they declined, they did not decline it, which I find that kind of hard to believe.
Exactly. For a team that went 9-3 in the WAC, almost had a chance to go to a BCS bowl game. Matter of fact, not getting invited to a bowl game, that's crap. It's them denying. Alright, that's definitely what happened. They definitely denied it. Because they were probably getting too cocky and saying, oh man, that bowl game sucks. We don't want to play. They're going to play so much better. Guess what? You just screwed all your seniors and everybody who follows our Tech. Screwed everybody right there because now they're not even going to the bowl game. They're going to sit back and watch another team play.
I love you, Louisiana Tech as a university, but I mean, why would you want to do something like that? I'm not even. We're not. Well, okay, we're kind of accusing them of accepting something, but I think that reports will come out. They'll say that that did happen and stuff because you can't keep the truth out there for long. We're speaking of what actually on the mind. It's an opinionated discussion here, but there's got to be somebody inside the organization. There's some inside trading going on somewhere in that organization, or. What you think, Mike Concho? I can't hear you, man.
At all. No. I was so furious that when I heard that, I just could have blew up right there. I was so happy they had such a good year. Then they go ahead and just blow it without going to the bowl game.
That's like the equivalent of UL saying we're not going to New Orleans Bowl.
Exactly. That's you're retarded because UL knows they won't get invited to another bowl if they won't accept it. And you know the funny thing about it is, our Tech would accept that bowl game. I think they're going to play the independent bowl level, which is right there in Shreveport, which is right by Ruston and Monroe. You would have had a packed stadium to have Monroe and La Tech go face to face in Shreveport. I mean, you know how happy the people would have been to have that game happen? It'd have been a record breaker over there.
And you know, Louisiana Tech's coach is leaving them for California, and I mean, I wouldn't tell me that, but I mean, that's just so weird. That, like, I mean, why would you want to turn down a bowl game? That's the one thing. Okay, here's their rankings for the year. Passing yards, they're 4th in the country. Rushing yards, 18th. Points, 4. That's scoring against other team 1st, and points against 119th.
And I mean, you see how good they are, except for that last stat, really. You see how good that is. They were one of the best teams in the country. Right? They almost beat Texas A&M. That tells you something. They almost beat Texas A&M. All right.
Yeah.
And then they lose to Utah State, and I think they lost to Tennessee State. I'm sorry if that's wrong, but I mean, it's retarded to decline a bowl game after such a good year. That's start training for the football year. You say, oh, one goal is to do what? Go to a bowl game.
That's the first goal of every single team in college football. Let's get 6 wins, get ourselves at least bowl eligible, and hopefully we can get there. But
exactly, that's the only thing y'all playing for to do that year, really. And then y'all go ahead and say, well, nope, we're not gonna go to that one because that one sucks. That's what I think happened. They're like, well, yeah, man, that game sucks, but then why would we want to go to that one? We could probably go to a better one. Greed, that's just nothing but greed. Why would you even want to do that?
I mean, actually, you turn down money too. You get paid money to go to them bowl games as well.
Exactly, and it's not like they were going from like Louisiana all the way to New York, California. They're going from Ruston all the way to Shreveport. That's about a 1 or 2 hour drive, alright? That's nothing for them. It's retarded.
Alright, well, you know which one's up next, but you want to introduce this one or you want me to do it?
No, let me do this one because this one just is so funny. I remember laughing at it when I heard it in the office in the meeting.
Alright.
The number 1 team will be roasted is University of Southern California.
Oh,
good. Yes, indeed.
Good old USC.
Yes, indeed. Everybody in the preseason. Oh, yes. USC is going to be the best team in the country. Going to be number 1, playing for a national title game, playing for a BCS bowl. Matt Barkley, going to be a Heisman contender. Oh, but wait, Matt Barkley's not in the running for a Heisman. Let's see. USC is clearly not going to a BCS bowl game because they're 7 and they went 7 and 5. Lucky to barely even get to a bowl game. That's just hilarious how people thought they were going to be the number 1 team in the country at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, USC, we had set this over the air already that they're the most overhyped team this year. And
I don't like USC, but to even say that they're going to be the number 1 team in the country is just a big mistake.
Okay, listen, they're ranked number 1 in the preseason, okay? You want to know what their record was against the top 25?
What?
Their top 25 record was 0-4. They did not beat a ranked team this year at all. Mike Ancho? What? Looks like we lost connection to Mike Ancho. Let's see. Get him back right here. Well, speaking of USC, they lost to Stanford, Arizona, number 4 Oregon, number 17 UCLA, number 1 Notre Dame. If you're going to be competing for a national championship, you have to beat a top 25 team. That's just end of it, okay? I know they're going to a bowl game and everything, but you have to beat a top 25 team. And at the end of the day, you just got to get the job done. And if you cannot beat a top 25 team, you don't even deserve to go be the number 1 team in the preseason in college football.
Arizona did pretty good this year. UCLA surprised me how good they were this year. They lose to Oregon. Oregon's another good team this year. And I'm sorry, I don't remember that. But how do you be ranked ranked number 1 in the preseason and then go not even being ranked in the top 25, nevertheless not even being the top 25 team?
You sure you want to stay? You sure you want to stay?
Okay, passing yards are 25th, rushing yards 69, points for 37, and points against 45th. And I mean, Barkley actually had a pretty good season, okay? He had 36 touchdown passes and 3,000 yards passing, basically. They finished 2nd in the Pac-12. So, they finished in the South. I mean, they could have won the South. I mean, hey, they lost to UCLA.
But how could you even say they're a good team when you can't even be the top 25 team? I know it's difficult to do. But, I mean, it really ain't that. Really, look at it. Anything's possible in college football. But to not be able to be a top 25 team is just ridiculous.
Yeah,